I'm Tony Robbins. For more than 4 decades, I've had the privilege of working with millions of people from all walks of life, world leaders, peak performers, business moguls, and everyday people who just want more out of life. I've stood on stages in over 100 countries, coaching people through transformation in real time. And there's one thing I've learned again and again. Human beings are not limited by resources, but by their own sense of certainty, strategy, and state. You are more powerful than you believe, but you've been conditioned to forget it. After this, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, you will change how you do everything. Let me ask you a question. What's the difference between those who thrive and those who just survive? Between the person who lives their life with passion and drive and the one who drifts from day to day, feeling like they are stuck in a loop? It's not intelligence, it's not talent, it's not luck. It's decisions. Massive, strategic, emotionally connected decisions that align with your highest standards. You see, life is a series of moments, but transformation happens in an instant. The moment you decide that enough is enough, the moment you say no more excuses, no more waiting, I will no longer be a prisoner of my past or my patterns, that's the moment your life changes, and that moment could be right now. What's holding you back isn't a lack of ability, it's the story you keep telling yourself. It's the voice in your head that says, I'm not ready, or I've failed before, or this is just how things are. Let me tell you something, your past does not equal your future unless you live there. You are not your circumstances, you are not your emotions, you are not your limitations unless you choose to identify with them. You've got to raise your standards. Most people in life get what they tolerate. If you tolerate being tired, broke, disconnected, unhappy, then guess what? You'll get more of that. But the second you raise your standards, the second you say, I demand more from myself, from my relationships, from my career, from my body, from my life, that's the second everything starts to shift. You don't need a new year to have a new life. You need a new standard, a new ritual, a new emotional home. Most people live in a certain emotional neighborhood, worry, frustration, anger, guilt, and they visit passion or joy only when something big happens. But what if you could reverse that? What if joy, gratitude, and drive were your new home and stress was just a hotel you checked into once in a while? Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of discomfort. You can't grow without stretching. You can't evolve without pressure. Think about it. What shapes diamonds? It's not comfort, it's pressure. What makes muscles grow? Not rest, resistance. Your next level will not arrive from a place of convenience. It will be forged in the fire of consistency. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to disrupt the pattern, because when you shift your emotional state, your decisions change, and when your decisions change, your life changes. You've got to learn to master your state, your story, and your strategy. In that order, let me break it down. First, your state. Your state is your energy, your mental, emotional, and physical condition in any given moment. Most people try to solve their problems while they're in a crappy state. They make decisions when they're tired, stressed, reactive. That's like trying to navigate a stormy ocean in a canoe. You need to shift your state, change your physiology, your focus, your language. The fastest way to change your life is to first change your state. Stand up, breathe deeply, move your body like someone who's unstoppable, speak like someone who knows what they want. That's how you prime your system. That's how you get out of survival mode and into creation mode. Next, your story. The story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. Some people say, I'm just not good with money, or I'll never be in shape, or love never works for me. That story becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But guess what? You're the author of that story, and you can rewrite it right now. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. Whatever meaning you assign to your experience becomes your reality. If you tell yourself you're a failure, you'll look for proof of that everywhere. But if you tell yourself, I am resourceful, I am resilient, I don't know how, but I will figure it out, then guess what? You start finding solutions instead of excuses. You shift from victim to creator. Finally, your strategy. Once your state and story are aligned, strategy becomes easy, but most people jump straight to strategy without changing their state or story. That's why they burn out or sabotage. But when you're in a peak state and your story empowers you, strategy becomes execution. You find what works, you model those who have succeeded before you, you test, you adapt, you move forward. That's how momentum is built. Now I want to challenge you right now. Decide, not someday now, decide who you are, decide what you stand for, decide what you will no longer tolerate and what you are absolutely committed to creating. And don't just decide with your mind, decide with your body. Feel it, own it, step into it. Most people dabble. They're interested in change but not committed, and there's a big difference. When you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. You'll stay up later, you'll wake up earlier, you'll ask the hard questions, you'll face your fears, and on the other side of that effort is a life that's extraordinary. You want an extraordinary life. Raise your standards, change your rituals, get around people who make you better, get hungry, because hunger is the ultimate driver. It's not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but hunger will push you through pain, through setbacks, through anything. When you're hungry, nothing stops you. I've coached billionaires, Navy SEALs, Olympic athletes, and I've coached people who were suicidal, bankrupt, lost everything. And you know what they all have in common when they change? They make a decision, a real decision, one with commitment behind it. They change their identity. They say, this is who I am now. This is what I stand for. That's the switch. That's the moment everything changes. So let's go deeper. Right now, take a second and be brutally honest with yourself, not in a way that tears you down, but in a way that sets you free. Ask yourself, where in my life am I settling? Where am I accepting less than I deserve? Where am I lying to myself? You can't change what you're not willing to face, but once you face it not with guilt, not with shame, but with clarity and hunger, you take your power back. This is not about blame, this is about ownership. Because when you own your story, you can write a new chapter. When you own your decisions, you can make new ones. When you stop pointing fingers and start pointing forward, you gain momentum. Momentum is the secret to breakthrough. Most people don't lack capability. They lack momentum, and momentum is built through daily rituals, not occasional inspiration. Inspiration is a spark. Discipline is the engine. If you only act when you feel like it, your life will be inconsistent. But when you build habits that align with your highest values, you generate power every day. What do you do the moment you wake up? That first hour, that's your power hour. Most people wake up and check their phone. They scroll, react, compare, stress. That's like starting the day in a storm. But imagine waking up, moving your body, feeding your mind, speaking your truth, visualizing your outcomes. That's how you install greatness. Your rituals shape your reality. You don't get what you want, you get your standards, and you sustain what your rituals support. Now, let's talk identity. This is the deepest level of change, because your identity is the invisible force that governs your behavior. If you see yourself as someone who's lazy, broke, overweight, unlucky, you'll act in alignment with that. But if you shift your identity, if you say, I am a leader, I am healthy, I am a finisher, I am unstoppable, you will start showing up that way. But identity doesn't change with words alone. It changes with consistent action, reinforced emotionally. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, boom, your identity shifts. Every time you override your excuses and follow through anyway, boom, your self-belief gets stronger. And eventually, you're no longer trying to become that person. You are that person. You're not here to live a life of quiet desperation. You're not here to survive. You're not here to fit in. You're here to expand, to evolve, to light a fire so big that others feel the heat just by standing near you. But that won't happen through passive consumption. That happens through radical engagement. You must live like your life depends on it, because it does. This moment right now, it's not a dress rehearsal. You don't get to go back and play it over again. Time is the one resource you don't get back. And the clock is ticking whether you act or not, so stop waiting for permission, stop waiting for the perfect plan, stop waiting for the fear to disappear, act in spite of fear, move before you're ready. The confidence comes from doing, not thinking. Fear is not the enemy, fear is fuel. It's a compass pointing you toward the next level of growth. If it scares you and excites you at the same time, that's where you go. That's the edge, and that edge is where you meet your potential. That edge is where you remember who you really are. Everything you need is already inside you, the strength, the creativity, the resourcefulness. The vision, it's all there. You just need to stop playing small and unleash it. Playing small doesn't serve the world. Hiding your gifts doesn't help anyone. You were born for more, and you know it. That's why you're still listening. That's why something inside you is waking up. It's time to stop managing your life and start leading it. Stop reacting and start creating. Stop trying to fix the old and start building the new. You're not here to repeat yesterday. You're here to shape tomorrow, and the power to do that, to break free from old patterns, to elevate your standards, to create unstoppable momentum. That power is in your hands right now. Think about a time when you felt totally alive. Maybe you were challenged, stretched, a little scared, but something in you rose. That's who you really are. That version of you is not a fluke. It's your core, and your job is to live from that place more often. To prime yourself every day to access that version, that power, that hunger, that presence. And when you do, when you live from that level, your relationships shift. Your business shifts, your energy shifts. Life stops happening to you and starts happening for you. You start to attract what you used to chase. You become magnetic, certain, alive. You become the cause, not the effect. But you have to commit. You have to decide that you're no longer available for anything less than the life you were meant to live. That you're no longer willing to negotiate with your potential. You don't dabble in greatness, you marry it. You don't visit excellence, you move in. This is your time, not someday, not after the next course, not when the stars align, now, this moment, because nothing changes until you do. Nothing improves until you raise your standard. And once you do, once you truly do, you'll never go back. You'll look back on this moment and say, that's the day everything changed. That's the day I woke up. That's the day I decided to stop living someone else's script and start writing my own. Are you willing to trade comfort for legacy? Are you willing to endure temporary discomfort for permanent pride? Are you willing to be the person you were born to be, not the one you were conditioned to be? Because if you are, if you really are, then it's time to unleash, time to declare, time to live with such intensity and truth that your life becomes a force for others. You become a lighthouse. You become proof of what's possible. Don't let this be another moment of inspiration that fades. Don't let this fire burn out. Fan it, fuel it, take action on it. Use this energy and go do something. Change one habit, make one decision, have one conversation, launch one idea, then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Stack the wins, build the muscle, create the momentum, because after this moment, you will never go back. After this, you'll change how you think, you'll change how you move. You'll change how you show up, you'll change how you do everything, and that's the beginning of a new life.